Welcome to the Woodpreneur podcast, the best podcast for the business and marketing side of the sawmill, lumber, and wood industry. What's a woodpreneur? If you have a business where you make money as a woodworker, sawmill owner, selling slabs, or a content creator, then you're a woodpreneur. My name's Steve Larziliere, and I started Woodpreneur Life, Acres of Timber, and the Woodpreneur podcast just for makers, wood entrepreneurs, and small business owners just like you. We're on a mission to empower thousands of wood businesses to grow sustainably and put out great products. Each week, I interview makers, sawyers, content creators, and 6- and 7-figure entrepreneurs that know the wood industry inside and out. With topics covering everything from the urban lumber movement, sustainable sourcing and design, we'll discuss the ins and outs of how to grow, monetize, and fully immerse yourself in the woodpreneur lifestyle. If you're a hobbyist, a full-time wood business owner, part-time entrepreneur who wants to become a content creator, or quit your day job to pursue your dreams, the Woodpreneur podcast is just for you. Thanks so much for listening. Now enjoy this episode. Hey, welcome to a brand new episode of the Woodpreneur podcast. This is your host, Steve Larziliere. Today's guests are Brad and Hannah from RiseUp label. How are you?
Hey, we're great. Thanks for having us on today, Steve.
Thank you.
So we met in Atlanta during IWF, and you all came to the meetup that we had, and it was nice to meet you. What was your other daughter's name that was there?
Callie,
that's right. Cool. Well, you have a very interesting business, and I love people that serve the woodpreneur community, and you are proof of that. So tell us about RiseUp label.
So I'll start with a very short story in the beginning. After I came out of college, I was offered a job in Lakeville, Minnesota at a printing plant that manufactured printing and labels and all kinds of different stuff. Long story short, I ended up working with one of the largest cabinet companies in the country and was supplying them with labels and print. And I ended up learning a lot about labels back in the 90s, and then it's carried all the way through. But we were solving problems at a level that I had never had problems looking at me like that before. From working with the engineers and the plant managers to solve some of their main label issues. And one of those issues was residue being left behind from what we call standard removable labels that are in the industry. So we worked ferociously getting that problem solved. It went to a lot of different plants and ended up, we kind of found a solution. And then as time went on, these engineers would go from plant to plant, some of the larger plants in the country, and I would continue to work with them and bring that solution as well as others. And so we ended up 5 years ago. I decided that it was really it was awesome to be able to help an industry with such a major problem as residue and have a solution. So this is what we focus on. This is what we do, and that has now become who RiseUp label is today, right now, working with the woodworking industry with a solution.
So cool. And tell me what is the fundamental problem that you're solving?
Yeah. So honestly, Steve, if we call 10 cabinet plants, mostly cabinet makers, woodworkers, millwork companies, they have labels, like I said, that are supposed to be removable. I don't think there's anybody in this country that hasn't bought some kind of a product and taken a label off and gotten all frustrated with the goo or the glue that's stuck behind on that product. And you're sitting here with a new product and you're going, what? No way. And so same thing with the wood, but even more important, because this isn't just a marketing label, this is an operational piece. It's part of the process. And if that residue is left behind on that all the parts, the door parts, the drawers, the frames, all the pieces, you got work to do at the end, which with our solution, that problem does not exist, and you're not paying labor and dealing with an issue, buying turpentine and rags and having somebody clean off all your parts of your brand new raw material product.
Yeah, that's incredible. And so you said that you worked with like chemists and adhesive companies to come up with a formula that it would not come up with, it would not leave any residue, regardless of the type of material.
I'm not going to take full credit like that. It's not that we formulated something. We worked with the plants and the places that actually produced, yes, the adhesives, which end up
Yeah.
being married with a label stock and a liner, which is the process before a label is actually converted. It's at the mill. And so, yes, we worked with those mills, and I bounced around to different mills with my label converting factories, and we found the product that worked best. I mean, it was a process of elimination. We went through
Mhm.
several different what they call the industry calls them ultra removable labels, but not all ultra removable labels are the same, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And give me, I mean, this sounds like a no-brainer for people, right? Is it a no-brainer, as like as a business owner, are you having to like actively market and sell people on this idea? Like it seems like, yes, this is a problem. I should go with you, right?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is that when we first started out, some plants don't even realize that they have this issue because they're not speaking to their employees about this, like such a small part of the process. But when the small part of the process isn't working properly, it does create really, really major issues. But sometimes those issues don't get pushed up the line to the people we would be talking to get that solution into their plant. And so I think we had a little bit of work to get the word out, and we're still doing that work to get the word out, but now we're starting to see a lot of people, now that this spark is catching, we're getting phone calls. I mean, he's on the phone all day long talking to cabinet plants around the country and even outside of this country, where now it's not a new idea. Now people have heard of us, they've heard of our solution, and now they're actually coming to us saying, we have to get your labels in our plant because we've found this issue in our plant. We realize that it's a problem. And it's all the way down to damaged products. Like that's a huge deal to manufacturers. That's not something that they want. So I think it's kind of started to flip a little bit. Now we're the ones getting the phone calls.
That's cool. That's very
Yeah.
cool.
I'll add to that just quick, Steve. So great example is I used to just when we started before I had Hannah doing our marketing and our social media and our website now, and now we have an online store where they can easily purchase the labels. I would cold call, as we all know what a cold call is. Not fun, but the instant answer is, oh no, we don't have any label problems. Okay, well, I need to talk to someone else that's a little bit closer to the thing. So what I
Got it.
discovered was we just got back from IWF. Nobody at IWF was there to look for labels. Okay, it's not this big deal. They're there to look at the machinery and the tooling and all that kind of stuff. So I literally told my daughter Callie at IWF, I said, you need to literally stick your foot out and trip these people in the aisle and tell them the 10-second story. You ever seen this before? And we have a label thing that we do this and we go, here, have you seen this before? And this label just rips and shreds. And then we show them this and we say, well, this is
Yeah.
our label. Okay. And they're like,
Yeah.
whoa. And the owners and the production managers go, we need to talk to this guy. And all of a sudden they're in our booth. And then we get the feedback back, Steve. They're like, well, I know this sounds crazy, but you guys are literally the highlight of the whole show for us. Hannah has a saying that she says, go ahead. What's your saying?
Someone described it once to us as the 4-cent solution to their $1 million problem. And that's just how impactful this problem is in their plant, that they might have not even realized without talking to their employees that are actually doing that process every day.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's very good. Yeah, no, it is the 4 cent solution to their $1 million problem.
Mm-hmm.
What so you've been around for 5 years officially in this capacity, right? As RiseUp?
No. RiseUp's been around a long time. In the
Okay.
capacity of all we're doing is supplying label solutions to the woodworking industry.
Got you. Got you. But it's okay, great. So you still serve people outside?
Outside of,
Wood.
yeah, I still have I don't want to call it leftover business, but I did a lot of things in my day. So we do a lot of things. We do containers and things like that. But all of our marketing is now focused, and our growth is now focused on this industry. We're gonna be what we call the guru of the label solutions for the woodworking industry. And
That's great.
I would never bash any competition whatsoever because there's a lot of great companies out there that are doing this. I do believe 100% so far from what I've seen and being around it a long time, we're the only one that's all we're doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so what does growth look like for you? Like when, going into like where you at now? I know you have it's a family business, so you have your two daughters working in it. Um, yeah, talk about the current operations.
Yeah, so I think recently a newer opportunity is that I've started working on the social media side of this, which is a new idea for him. It's definitely something newer that we've implemented also in addition to our online store. They're obviously working side by side. And so we're
Yeah.
just now breaking into this industry online as well as, going to trade shows in person and doing some of that cold calling. It's also migrated to social media. So that's been a huge piece of it that we're just kind of getting off the ground right now. What else?
I would add to that. So this is new for us as well. With the social media, the trade shows, again, getting the word out. The other thing that we are doing, which we have found great success in, and also not only success in of itself, but the success of being able to partner with the equipment manufacturers, with the
Hmm.
software companies, the printer people, and saying, "Hey, we're coming in alongside of you guys. We're not trying to take anybody's business here, but we're trying to come alongside of you guys to show you guys that there is." Because here's the funny thing: the label, if it is broken, the entire process is broken of the efficiencies running through the plant. So you can have the big CNC doing its job, the auto applicator doing its job, but if that label will not come off, the process is broken at that point. So
Yeah.
we are coming in saying, we are going to put the plug in the dam right there. We're going to put the Band-Aid on the problem so you have the perfect scenario. And the software and the equipment manufacturers, the CNC companies are like, yes, we need this. We've not been able to solve. One of the bigger companies shared with me the other day when I talked to him at IWF, and he goes, I've been trying to solve this problem for 20 years. Nobody
Ah,
has been around to help make this happen. How can you help us? So here we are.
wow.
Now we're working with them.
It's like the last piece of the puzzle that often doesn't fit, and that's where we're trying to fill a gap in this industry for sure.
Absolutely. And it's from a business perspective, it's a replenishable item that they always need. So they're always going to
Yeah.
use you, which is really incredible. That's so could you describe like your ideal client? Who's your perfect ideal client?
Yep. So it's the ideal client is
Oh,
the
and I was gonna say is like from smallest to biggest
yep.
too, just because we have a lot of different people that are part of this community. So like I'd love to figure that
Yes.
out.
So I the other day I had a guy call and he said, I'm just a small shop and I really don't. He said, can I just buy a roll? I said, absolutely, you can buy a roll. Why? Not because I'm worried about breaking a case of our inventoried label of the 4x2 standard label that we sell, but the fact that that guy, we don't know what he's trying to grow his business. I have an opportunity to help him because he's now
Hmm.
putting labels on. He's buying them probably from the Office Max, and he's using an Avery label that is really not removable off of wood. I don't like
Yeah.
the idea that he's struggling. Well, let's plug every hole that we can from that guy all the way up to we are working with a local plant in Minnesota here, one of the largest plants in the country. And they
Hmm.
produce they're doing over 2,000 cabinets a day. So
Wow.
yeah, so we're working with all of them, and we can be all to all of them.
That's great. That's great. What aside from just typically, because I know that you talk to these clients often, right? Like aside from labels, what else are problems that cabinet makers and millwork company like what other things are they sort of facing internally operationally?
Well, I mean, the only things I really ever really hear about, Steve, are the things that would be closely connected with the label. And most of what I hear, just to be honest, is like for instance, I'll hear, hey, the label applicator, the auto applier that's on their CNC isn't working properly, and so they'll call me and they'll say, well, we don't know if it's probably the labels. I'm like, I bite my tongue, right? I never say it's not the label, but I
Yeah.
do say right up front, I say, if it were the label, I would have 100 companies calling me at this minute because
Yeah.
it would be a problem throughout an entire run of our label. So we end up kind of working through that with them, and their thing is, well, their auto labeler is not adjusted correctly, or they haven't called their tech. It's more service issues, I think, than equipment things that we hear about, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. I don't know if that answers your question, but
Yeah, no. It makes sense. So the insights that you are getting are usually connected to, and how would you even solve something like that? Or could you, or like, you know what I mean? Like how in depth. So if you're solving a 4 cent, using a 4 cent thing for like $1 million problem, like how else are you noticing, or what are the things that you're noticing about the growth of a cabinet company?
yeah. So one of the things, I guess, here's something I'm thinking of. They ask us a lot about printers, and I got this printer that doesn't really this or doesn't really that. Um, I encourage them. They want to go and spend $100 on the cheapest printer they can find. Okay, I get that.
Yeah,
I'm a frugal person myself. I would probably catch myself doing the same thing. However, from my standpoint, and the labels that we are providing, which a label is an animal. It's not a simple product. You'd be surprised how much goes into producing a label correctly. So we
yeah,
need the right equipment to be managing that. And then when you buy a little $100 printer, all of a sudden our 4 cent label might not work because it's a printer issue or it's something like that. So I do encourage them, if you're going to really get into labeling, don't
yeah.
don't slack on the equipment because you are going to pay for that later.
Yeah, for sure. So it's kind of like, I mean, this is probably like a word to all woodpreneurs out there, is like, just because you spent 75 to a $250,000 on a piece of machinery, like, don't skimp out on everything else that helps optimize that. That includes the printer, that includes the label. That's like, you need to completely look at your investment in a piece of machinery and say, what is the best component that will help maximize this at its highest form.
Thank you. Perfect.
Yeah.
You said it. That's our commercial.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. It makes a lot of sense, because like I see a lot of people too. It's like, as a business owner, you're already too strapped,
Yeah.
right? Like, you're just like, you're trying to like make money, make payroll, pay bills, and then you're
Yes.
looking for any way to cut corners because you just want to do whatever it takes to get the lights on.
Yes, sir.
And like, I can totally see, like, it would be really friggin' annoying to have like a hardwood component, and then you are labeling it, and somebody spent tens of thousands of dollars, and it's being shipped someplace, and the person that's assembling it needs to know what the hell they're doing, and then they pull it off and it's potentially damaged, or there's some residue, and they got to do some extra. It's just like this very annoying thing
Yep.
that you are solving.
Yep.
um that is very, very cool. I guess my other question: do you think in terms of like problems to solve for folks, or are you like content with this problem and you are looking to like sort of own this space?
Well,
In
yes. Yes and yes. We do.
Okay.
We would like to own this space for obvious reasons, for the growth of not only our company but the success of and the growth and the betterment of all these customers out there. Number one. But you're right. I want to go back just a couple 1 minute here and say if we're speaking to the woodpreneurs and the wood shops, I do get this, and this won't surprise anybody, but that's like almost double or 30% higher than what we're paying. And I'm like,
Mhm.
correct. This is not, we don't produce 10 million of these and put them on a shelf. And it's the
Yeah.
cheapest adhesive and face stock and liner you could ever purchase. That's not us.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then I bring them to the place and I say, Mr. Woodpreneur, I want to challenge that thinking. That is 1.5 extra cents. And you have someone scraping 5 parts of a cabinet that you're making with turpentine towels, and you're paying that person. Let's start adding up the numbers, because that cent and a half disappears so quickly it'll make your head spin.
Yeah.
So I want to get that message out to them. And then the not to get into this one too far, but we also have another solution that we are now presenting to the industry in regards to paint and stain. And I'll just say this quickly. We have what's called our paint mask label. And that paint mask label allows the user, it's a multi-layer label, but long story short, we print in reverse on the back of the label, so it shows up when you lay it down on the piece of wood. That piece goes through the stain and paint. It might be completely covered or have overspray, but you can't read the barcode anymore and you can't read what it's about. And then we have a little tab that they peel up to re-expose the like it's a brand new label again. And so this solves what Hannah calls the hacks of trying to figure out how to get your piece through there without tearing off the label, printing another one, and all the stuff that goes with that. We have a solution for that as well. So we're not just stopping at the what we call our trademarked Rise Clean label.
You're like a label mogul right now. You're just you're like your descendants would be like, yo, had the Klingman clan get rich? Like
It really like is.
great grandfather
Yeah.
dominated the wood industry from
Yeah.
labels. Oh my
Mhm.
God.
Yeah.
In 2024, he was like,
It's honestly something that is like, it was a
Wait,
shock to me.
are you calling me old?
yeah, in 2024, people are gonna be like,
Yeah.
in 50 years, we're gonna be like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
like why is our college and our life paid for it? Like, well, because back 50 years ago,
Solve the label problem.
he solved
Yeah.
the biggest problem in the wood manufacturing
Mhm.
industry.
Yeah, and it's
That
such an
is,
unexpected one too. It's such a small piece of the puzzle that, coming into this business, I kind of looked at this and I was like, can you really make an entire business off of solving this one tiny problem? But when everybody has that problem and doesn't know how to solve it, and they're trying all these different things to work around, a little thing in their process that doesn't work, that's when it becomes a very expensive problem. It's no longer just a little piece of the puzzle, it's causing major issues. And so, yeah, I mean, it was a shock to me. That's for sure.
that is very, very, very cool. Yeah, that's awesome. So tell me, what does growth in the future look like? How do you get to that point, you think?
Well, let my director of marketing handle that one.
Honestly, it's opportunities like this that are so valuable to us to be able to share our story. I think that's really where it starts, is just being able to like let people know, hey, there's a solution to this problem. You don't have to, put masking tape over your labels or Sharpie on your product. Like there actually is something in this industry that we're working to solve for you, and we have the answer for it. I think that's almost like a light bulb moment, but being able to just share the story, really just tell the story and relate to the people out there that are listening. I think that's a huge, huge part of it. So thank you again for having us
Yeah, for sure.
and letting
No
us share
worries.
that story.
So this is a part of the podcast where I give you any marketing or business advice. Is there anything that you need help with, or any advice that I could give to help you move towards building this label empire?
I think for me, one question I would have is, we kind of started from scratch in our social media this year. Like, I think I made an attempt at it a couple years ago or 3 or 4 years ago in this industry, and I just didn't follow through with it. And now I'm back to it. I've found Facebook groups where, people are looking for the solution to their problem. But I would ask you, like, what your best advice for breaking into this world online would be.
Yeah, so the which is a great question. So the question is like, how do you break into more of uh, this community to
Mm-hmm.
let them know what problems you're solving, right?
Yeah.
And so the thing that the same way that helped you get onto this podcast was that you got to share your story,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I'm a big fan of being able to share other people's story. And so um, in marketing, I'm sure you've heard this, like you got to make your customer the hero,
Yeah.
right? And so what I would probably be investing in is storytelling from your customer's perspective. Like I think the biggest thing is that you have a very it's a small product that is very overlooked. But
Mm-hmm.
if you have the stories of your customers and the impact that they've made, the impact that your product has made on their business, and again, it's like, it's like tires on a car. You need it, but you don't really think about it until you actually have to get new tires. And
Absolutely.
so I would tell for the first thing is I would tell more stories of your clients. So that would mean like interviewing them, blog posts. Like I
Mm.
noticed your website is super uh it's very product focused. It
Mm.
is it's not brand focused,
Mm.
it's not storytelling focused. It's straight transaction. And as a family run business, you guys are not about transaction. You're about relationships. You're about growth. You're about, building a legacy. You're about that 50-year vision that I just planted in your head, right? Like, and
Yeah.
that's what you're about. And a lot of these cabinet companies and millwork companies, this.
Yeah.
They are very much the same way.
Yeah.
So marketing is about mirroring the people and the industry and your target customer within your own brand, but putting it in a spin that is sort of core to your mission, vision, and values,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
Like the the cabinet industry is very much homegrown.
Yeah.
They're slow to adapt to technology. um, they're slow to adapt to innovation because they're so honed and focused on craftsmanship. That's
Mm-hmm.
literally the story that you should be telling, and then sort of juxtapositioning the impact of labeling and how it is contradictory. The current state of labeling is contradictory to the craftsmanship that they want to put out into the
Mm.
world.
Mm. Mm.
That's the story.
Mm.
And if you can get into like a flywheel of like customer gets sent out, right? They use your product, you get testimonials, you market those things. I would literally just market testimonials. That's it. That's all I would do is market testimonials. Don't push your product. Continue doing what you're doing to push product, but literally build a community of your customers.
Mm.
And then once you have them all in one spot, there's so many other things that you'll be able to solve. Like so many other things. You know what I mean? Like you'll if you could help them solve this problem and you know intimately what other problems that they have, that's I mean, I think whatever you're doing now times 10.
I love that.
Yeah, me
Thank
too.
you for that
You know what I mean?
perspective.
Yeah, huge.
The big I mean, not everybody is lucky enough to have, a family member, a professional in marketing that's able to help, because oftentimes it's the owner doing everything and they
Yeah.
don't have the skill set and they're worried about keeping the lights on and making more sales. And so for you, I would just be like, yeah, I would just call up your 10 best customers. Be like, "Hey, can I interview you on a thing like this?"
That's great.
Love that.
And I would lastly I would redesign your website.
Yeah, yeah, we are.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, I
on
would
the
re
horizon.
Listen,
yeah,
we're listening.
I would redesign the website and then literally just like well, I'm just curious. How many customers do you have within 2 hours of you?
10.
That's perfect. Perfect. That is perfect. I would literally make them your marketing partners.
Oh,
That's
oh,
literally
you go visit them. Okay.
no, no, no. It's not even just go visit them. It's like get in their business, like be part of what they're doing, like product tests, like literally make them like your content factory. Like the reason why your social media isn't growing as much is because you're making it about yourself. It's not about you. It's
Yeah,
about them.
Okay.
that makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Cool. Is
Yeah.
this all helpful? Is that helpful to you?
Yeah, super.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
can we stay on
Awesome.
another hour?
Yeah. I mean, look, I want you guys to win. And
Thank
and I
you.
love the how do you say it? I had an old client. They used to do they created a product in the wood industry, and they served the Woodpreneur, and it was just like a it was such a unique product, and it was really great to see them win and grow and to achieve scale. And part of it is just like fine tuning. You're like totally on the right path, but then you're like, oh, that's that. I mean, I know, Hannah, you're a social media person, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you know what worked on Instagram last year doesn't work this year.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Like that's the way that's the approach that you need to have with
Yeah.
this on the
Noted.
business.
Can I
Cool.
kind of ask a quick question?
Yeah, for sure.
So, with what I call the bigger clients, one thing I've learned is it's been hard for me. I'm your traditional old knock on the door sales guy, right? Well,
Yeah.
now that we're dealing with literally hundreds of people, I'm like, wait a minute, how do we have a relationship with these people when there's that many and there's so few of us? What do you have any thoughts or recommendations as far as some of the, we do also want to work with the bigger shops because we can bring the solutions to the bigger shops as well. Is that still door to door? Should I be flying into towns and trying to meet with their plant man? I mean, do you have thoughts?
So interesting. You know what's so interesting? I mean, we could talk more offline about this. What's so interesting is that um a lot of the cabinet making, let's just say softwares, they have salespeople literally if because the adoption of a piece of technology or whatever is so critical to these businesses that you should potentially once a quarter hit a different region.
Mm.
And we can talk about that. Like we can talk because it might be worth it because the folks that are doing like 20 million, $30 million, like, yeah, you want them to see your face,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and you want to give them a role for free
Yeah.
and a demo.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because these guys, they're so busy. They don't those guys, they don't even care about marketing. They give zero craps about marketing.
Yeah.
Period. They only care about efficiency
Yeah.
and winning bids. Like,
Yep.
it is less about the brand, but more about can they produce a product. And those people are busy.
Yeah.
They're so busy. So if you can like get FaceTime with them, or better yet, create FaceTime with them, that'll be even better. But to answer that question is, I would say once a quarter, uh, go for a week and hit up a region of the country, the Northeast, and you literally hit up everybody in the Northeast, like Boston, New York, Vermont, Maine, Connecticut, like every major cabinet shop, and you could probably like sort them out too. Um, are you part of AAWI?
AA? I don't think so. Huh?
AAWI,
Hmm.
Architectural Association of
No, no.
Woodworkers Institute. Yeah. That might be a good place. I'll send you a link for that too.
Thank
That
you.
might be a
Thank you.
really great place for you to like literally be a spot. You would. I think I just made you $1 million. That idea. I literally. All right. We'll talk.
We'll send you a
Here,
mug. We'll send you a mug with our logo on it.
you crazy? I want more than that. I don't need a mug. I got a cover full of mugs. Um, so why don't you tell everybody your website?
Our website is riseuplabel.com.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Brad and Hannah, for your
Thank
time.
you.
And I look forward to getting your story out to the Woodpreneur community. All
Thank
right.
you,
you
Steve.
so much.